Hello, everyone. Quinn here, and today we're going to talk about why science is the new cult. Now, there have been many statements made before, especially during the vaccines. And a recent update, Sky News has given actually something I already knew was going to be said. I'd already predicted it, yet no one would listen because you know what? People just want you to take the damn vaccine. And although it seems very likely for some people to debate whether or not you should take the vaccines, well, Sky News gave the answer I had given 4 months earlier, yet no one was willing to listen because everything from vaccines to what color of socks you wear has been highly politicized. And so here I am telling you why science is the new cult, because really the Western version of how to practice any form of spirituality has always been done at basis of their own ego, and also of not really wanting to make things better, but really to obtain and distribute power. Now, after, of course, that didn't work out, they started putting all their chips on science. All right? And really, if you look at the news in London when people were protesting the vaccines, there was a particular interviewer who said, see, all these people behind me, they don't believe in science. See what I did there? So, whatever the narrative, all right, has been made to get people to take the vaccines and telling people that it's basically free of choice while really doing anything and everything in their power to make sure that you take these vaccines whether you want to or not, literally putting people in repeated lockdowns to force a hidden narrative, all right, to project a hidden agenda onto the public for you to take the vaccines. But why? Really, it has always been Western society's goal to separate and divide rather than bringing people together. You see this in social statures where everyone is put in a particular group, and if you don't fit that particular group, well, then you're weird, then you're an outcast, you're a nobody, you're this particular fucking weirdo. So, but how does this translate to science being the new cult? Well, you see that from everything to the medical world, from everything to a spiritual world, whatever they can do to dissect and divide in therefore order to be sure that things can or cannot be explained. But of course, some things, as we all know, by the universe aren't meant to be explained. Some certain things, such as messages, are only meant for you. So if you're here watching this right now, that means that this message is particularly for you who are interested in listening. While really, you can see it the way the scientific world has strongholded everything. All right, you even see in the medical world where really there goes a narrative that their way is the only way of truly thinking. Excuse me, one moment. Yeah, sorry. Sometimes I get downloads and giving the message. But back to um, where we're currently at, which is the state of the medical world really has put in such a way where everyone is being really manipulated into thinking that only science is the accurate answer to solving all the world's problems. Yet they say that, and they're into alchemists. All right, everyone loves Paulo Coelho's The Alchemist. But what a lot of people don't realize is that alchemists really made no distinction between science and spirituality. Like I said in a previous podcast, You can still be an avid believer of God and still practice science. We think that just because you're in a certain position that we ought to keep things separate from each other. Well, that's really not the way to go about it. And we've seen now with the current state of the medical and scientific world as we are right now, where really all alternate forms of healing, all right, such as plant-based medicine, have been completely cut out of the equation. Why? Because if we don't put a patent on it, we can't make a profit out of it, and if we can't make a profit out of it, then it should not be utilized, which is completely dumbfounded. And not only that, and it's practically ridiculous. It's practically ridiculous that we have to go to such an extent to promote a hidden agenda. And even as I say this right now, Sky News, as I said, has reported that, hey, the vaccines you're taking right now are not going to help you against new variants of the virus in the future. And now that we have so many different variants of the coronavirus, it's not even a question of if it's going to happen, it's a question of when it's going to happen. That everyone thinks, oh, it's all over because I took the vaccine and I can go ahead and travel. It's strictly having a very limited view on our current medical health system. All right? It like Corona, like I said, regardless of whatever you believe in the 3D or the 5D realm, I've explained the 5D reasons of this. Call me whatever you want. But everything I have said that's going to happen has happened, and this is what's going to happen. A lot of people are going to start traveling, bringing different variants of the virus to different parts of the world, and we are going to end up in chaos. People are going to be dying left and right, and there won't be a goddamn thing we can do about it, because rather than changing our way of thinking, we have done what Western society has always done: do the same shit every time, expecting a different result. And that is just not how we're going to get this done. And a lot of this has been made so not only by the media, not only by our people elected in government, but also the very limited belief of the medical establishment and the scientific community, is that all alternate forms of healing, of curing people, have been cast aside unless we can make a profit. And this is exactly why the world is in the state it's in. We're not looking to make things better, we are looking to make a profit. And it's because of that mindset is where we are in the world right now. This is why we're here right now. All right? Because for our current lack, all right, of broadening our vision to the bigger perspective. And a lot of people either don't care, or they don't show, or they simply don't have the know-how to look at things not only from different perspectives, but also looking at things from the bigger picture. This is not by any means giving the broader perspectives on why science is the new cult. Like I've said before, it took us a gradual while to get there. We have been so caught up in a limited way of thinking and a limited way of believing, what our world is in reality really like. And this is why. Okay, let me push that. Really, all right. Let me start from the ground up. We have been brainwashed. We've been fooled into thinking that science is the only answer, and especially science as we look at it today in modern day times, is the only answer to our current problems. Like I've said, all alternative healing methods of healing, whether it be natural, whether it be plant-based, whether it be spiritual, or any of them, it doesn't matter which one you pick. They all require you to believe. So whatever you believe, all right, is the cure, was going to be the cure. But if you want to get to the truth, the fundamental truth, it will require you to think for yourself. And a lot of people haven't done that. And that's why we get what Sky News gave us. Having you blindly believe that only one method is the cure to the madness. Like I've said before, Corona confronted us with a lot of things that society has kept hidden from us for a long time. And like I said before, no matter what you try to do, the truth inevitably will surface. And the fundamental truth is that chemicalized solutions, all right, they're not the cure. They minimize the symptoms. And if we really want to avoid such things in the future, all right, even in ancient Chinese philosophy, all right, the better cure for any illness is prevention of the illness. And we have done nothing but stagnate and procrastinate in order to minimize the symptoms. Minimize the risk, but never really to cure everything. Why? Because there is a benefit to keeping people sick. There is a benefit for, not mentioning any party, to keeping people in a state of having to come back for medicine and to get people to get the vaccines. The sign has been given right in front of us. And there have been so many people telling us, all right, for years, that everything in this world is connected. All of it. All right? From Dr. Sebi, from what he said about naturally healing people, curing people. All right? The medical establishment has not been about curing people for a very long time, and this is exactly why. And if you don't believe me, look up the science. Look at the patterns. We've been telling people all about this, and really, we need to start looking at optimal solutions, because these vaccines are not it. And Sky News just handed my prediction on a silver platter, all right, which I made 4 months prior. 4 months prior. This is the universe taking her power back. This is Mother Earth exacting her will. This is Allah abandoning us because we've mistreated his woman for way too long. This is the 5D explanation. And don't shoot the messenger, alright? I'm just here to tell you what was told me, what I saw coming, and the rest of the world didn't. Now, why is science the new cult? Here's why. Western society always had a limited view on a lot of things and shut out any voice, all right, any other perspective that did not come to terms with their own agenda, with their hidden motive. And if you look at the patterns of history, all right, the biggest spreaders of disease have always been Western European descendants who were traveling. Always. What do you think happened when the Spanish came to South America? Because the Incas, a lot of people don't know this, all right? 70 to 95% of all the deaths of the Incas, and the Incas were in the billions. All right, the Incas were in the billions and were wiped out by pox. All right, disease spreaded by Western man. Western European descendants. And the same thing is happening now. We can still reverse this. But if we're not careful, it's going to be like Jaws. It's going to be one bloody summer. All right? Because right now, we're sending in everyone blind. And it took that article of Sky News to say that the vaccines are not going to guarantee that you'll be safe from future vaccines. This was said from the beginning, all right? But the hidden motive is now brought to light. Science is the new cult because we've shut down all other voices who were contrary to what the hidden motive ultimately was. The truth will always come to light, folks. And this is something that has been heavy on my heart. That a lot of people right now are dying and they don't have to. A lot of conflict, a lot of chaos is out there, and it doesn't have to be this way. It doesn't have to be. But right now, we got to do what's right. And clearly, after having almost 4 consecutive lockdowns, all right, if not more, 4 or more consecutive lockdowns, all right, and treating people left and right. I'm looking at statistic right now of how many people have been vaccinated. And for what? For a limited belief that is not even your own because you were too unknowing or unwilling enough to look up at the stats yourself and reconnect the dots. I told people all the time, all right, statistics nowadays with everything being manipulated, it doesn't mean a damn thing. It doesn't mean anything. Even back here in the Netherlands, when they were saying in 2015, 2016 that, yeah, the economy is getting better. The economy is getting better. For who? All right? They were shutting down hospitals left and right. People were getting more poorer by the minute. The people are getting more miserable. And it got even to a point where I'm walking down my own city and for the first time ever see a homeless woman begging for change on the street. This we did this to ourselves. And honestly, we've shut down all forms of alternate healing, like I said. I know people think I sound like a crazy person right now, but I've connected the dots, man. Like, I've seen this coming. And I can't give up now. Receiving more downloads, people. You see, we think that creativity comes from here. It comes from out there. And how we choose to process this, how we choose to process what's going on here, that is what's going to determine how our reality is going to look like. So, if you're ready to feed this, all right, and move forward, all right, with positive intent, the universe, Allah, and Mother Earth will have your back, no doubt. But science has been the new cult, and the people who we thought to be our leaders have led us astray. Like I said, we need to have a more broader perspective on things. Like I said in the whole Jada Pinkett situation, like we need to stop thinking that women can't be predators, and we should not think that just because you're older means you're wiser. Trust me, I know people who are in their 70s and 80s, they still do the same shit that they did in their 20s and 30s and wonder why nothing ever changed. You can't keep doing the same thing expecting a different result. And because Western thinking has led us to, has always adopted this mindset, is exactly why we're in the situation we're in right now. And the reason that most people aren't going to take it from me, because I don't look like them. All right, and that's the ego talking. Because honestly, a good idea can come from anywhere, from anyone, from any place, no matter what their situation is. All right, I had an idea for a clothing line, not to get off topic here, but I've had an idea for a clothing line. I did not know how to get started. You know who got me on that idea? Who got me to that blueprint? All right, a homeless woman in a hostel in London. All right, from Nigeria. She was homeless. Yo, we need to stop thinking that just because you're educated means you're smart. Just because you have that piece of paper don't make you better than nobody. And if you haven't learned that lesson by now, you've got a sad thing coming, brother or sister. I'll tell you that right now. Connect the dots. The patterns are there for everyone to see. But are you awake enough in yourself to see that pattern? Like I said, I saw this coming since 2019. And the reason it took me this long, because you can't help somebody if you're going through shit. It's not done. I had to make a lot of sacrifices. The one thing we can never get back is time. And now it's up to each and every one of us to turn this ship around. We got to turn this ship around, and we got to do it right now. First of all, stop people vaccinating. All right, it's a cult belief that is no bigger nor better than Scientology or any other form of variant of limited spiritual belief that you may or may have adopted from someone else, or just processed whatever you read the long way. Because trust me, spirituality ain't here. Spirituality isn't in a book. Spirituality isn't in a YouTube channel. Spirituality is all around us, brother and or sister. It's everywhere. Even in immaterial objects. Trust me, Mother Nature speaks her mind. Plants can talk. Trust me, if you're silent enough in here, and silent enough in here, and open in both, you'd be surprised what kind of messages can come in, brother and or sister. But we need to have to stop with these limited beliefs. I swear before Lord. We need to stop this shit. Because it's going to end up costing everyone. I'm going to make my next video. But be warned, people. Change your ways. Or be ready for one bloody summer. One that no one is ever going to forget. Ever. Have a good day.